Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. I'm your host Imran Khan. As always, I have a very interesting guest with me on a very interesting location. I'm at the Golf Club of Hyderabad. If you notice the Golconda Fort behind me, and so it's a very picturesque location. However, the person I'm going to be talking to today is a passionate golfer and also happens to be the Chief Electoral Officer, the first Chief Electoral Officer, mind you, of Telangana and the Principal Secretary to the government. So please let me welcome Dr.Rajat Kumar. Thank you so much for joining us. हमारी बात हुई है पहले, तो I know you, of course आप तेलुगु बात करते हो and because you've done a lot of, it's pretty good. You've done service for a long time here. However, आप हो दिल्ली के, तो दिल्ली में शुरुआत कहाँ से? Where are you from in Delhi?
Delhi, we used to stay in Sabdaja enclave. I mean, my grandfather's house was there. But recently we have shifted to Noida. We have bought a house there, and that's where now home is.
तो schooling कहाँ हुई?
I did my schooling at Mayo College. Mayo is in Ajmer in Rajasthan. It was a school established, I think, somewhere in 1871 or something. Mostly for the royal families of Rajasthan. So it has very quirky traditions, you know, polo, tying a safa on your head for formal dinners, and all is part of the school routine and stuff like that. But it was very interesting, yes.
Howard, what was that?
I was doing public policy over there. I was doing specialization in international development. I went on a sabbatical. I had a World Bank fellowship. So usually one doesn't do very useful things after finishing your district collectorship. I took that period from 2005 to 2007 to, I got a fellowship from the World Bank. I did my master's from there.
Like much before that is St. Stephen's.
Yeah, there was a bit of Stephen's. I mean, the IIT results come a little later. So after Mayo, I had joined Stephen's Physics Honours.
And Osmania comes.
That was my PhD. I thought, like, rather than wasting time, might as well capitalize on all this thing.
So you've obviously academically inclined and
yes, most of.
So post that, when did this stint in Hyderabad happen?
So I joined the IAS in 1991, and I was allocated the Andhra Pradesh cadre. The way the All India Services works is that, you know, the selection is done at the national level. Some 5 lakh people write the exams and 50 odd people are selected for the IAS, and then they are allocated different cadres. So I was allocated Andhra Pradesh at that time. And that's how I first landed in Andhra Pradesh in 1992. Since then I've been here more or less.
There have been various stints.
Oh yeah.
So what are some of your interesting stints? You've been an IAS officer for a long time.
Usually all IAS officers tend to enjoy their collectorship because that's the first sort of independent and larger role that you acquire. I did my collectorship in Vijayanagaram. And very beautiful district, like very lot of history there, a lot of things to learn. It was very a good assignment in the sense that, you know, one got to do, it's a backward district also, so one got a lot to do in education. When I joined there, the pass percentages the 10th standard pass percentages used to hover around 48-49%. By the time I finished with the district, we had about 80%. So that was a big, like, you know, I mean, I feel very satisfied having done that. The district credit offtake used to be about 80 lakh rupees. 3 years down the line, when I left it, it was about 350 crore rupees. So 80 crores to 350 crores we went up. Those are the kind of things that one gets an opportunity to do as a district collector, you know. So, and apart from that, I've worked, like, you know, I've done the usual assignments. I was a subdivisional, like, you know, sub-collector in Bhuvanagiri. I did my project director, DRDA, the joint collector. And then I was in, you know, the Government of India for 5 years in the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. That's a part of the Ministry of Commerce and Industries. There also, there was a lot of, like, I mean, interesting things that I got engaged with. One was the new manufacturing policy of India. So, you know, we have a very antiquated, like, you know, legacy of industrial policy done in 1956. And then subsequently, world has moved along. India has also moved along. The 1991 liberalization changed a lot of things here. but some of the policy remnants were still there. So I got a chance to work on that, and that's all the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, the Delhi-Calcutta Industrial Corridor, all the industrial corridors, the national investment and manufacturing zones.
Right.
Another interesting thing that I did was, you know, the World Bank rankings of ease of doing business. So I felt that the World Bank people didn't really understand the imperatives in the country. You know, I mean, India, each country is unique, and more so a country like India, which has such a large diversity and so many traditions and all that, not to talk of the colonial past and the legacy of the British rule. So we needed to do something for ourselves rather than be judged by some kind of a global like framework. And that's when we started the ease of doing business competition amongst the states. And that's now turned out into a very major success. A lot of states compete for, you know, including Telangana, which was ranked first last year. So some very interesting assignments along the way.
You know, of course, I'm always, I mean, golf is a very important part of your life. Apparent.
Now it is.
It is. But sport always has been a firm, right?
Oh yes.
Always.
Yes.
I mean, today people may not
think of me as a sports person.
Especially a boxer. You've been a boxer as well.
That was an easy university blue. You see, in the IIT, it's easy to make the boxing team. So boxing I got into in Mayo. I was tall for my age and had strong shoulders. And my house captain said that, why don't you box? So I was put up like in the middleweight category there. That's how boxing started. I used to play squash. I used to play cricket. I played for the Central Zone under 18 team because that's where Mayo's this thing is located, you know, in that zone. So yeah, sports has been a major part of life all along.
Today, I think when you golf, the you know, posture and everything, you've been a boxer, so
of course. I mean, you see, there are advantages of carrying some learnings from another game, and there are disadvantages. So if you carry too much of cricket to golf, you're not going to do too well. It's all again one's kind, but the eye-hand coordination, the reflexes, all those obviously have, like, you know, I mean, utility across all sports.
Right, obviously. And but you started off with a private job.
Oh yes, I worked with the Tatas for a while.
That's how it started. And that's where there's a love story with your wife.
Yeah, well, I met my wife there.
Right. I mean, of course, I'll get to the family eventually. I do touch a little bit on that. However, so other than you've had these interesting stints, and recently, I mean, you know, when you were the caretaker when there was during the election phase, tell me about that. How, I mean, in general, this is a tough job, obviously.
Oh, yes.
However, what
one of the toughest I've done.
Yeah, and so what are the additional responsibilities? How difficult is it, that, you know, that phase?
Yeah, see, the election job is slightly different from the other, like, you know, jobs that a IAS officer handles. In one sense, first of all, in most of the jobs, you see, you can interpret as you go along, your learning, your general knowledge, your understanding of the political economy, all that helps you take a, you know, sort of conscious decision about what is best and things like that. In elections, the first thing is that it is actually very elaborately spelled out. Each and every step, each and every, you know, I mean, how a person is registered as a voter, how a person's name is deleted, how the machine should be placed, what should be the height of the box, the box that, you know, the voter's compartment height. Everything is spelled out in detail. So it requires a lot of meticulousness. You need to read a lot. You don't have any sort of, you know, arbitrary like decisions to be made here. You basically have to follow the lines and implement them. And then the other challenge is that you are working with a very large team. So for example, for conducting the elections in the state, we had a team of nearly 250,000 people working with us. That's including the police, the presiding officers, his teams, etc., all over the place. Even during the electoral roll revisions and all, we have about 40,000-50,000 people working on these jobs. Now the challenge is that now the job has become extremely technical and very legal. You know, everything is challenged in the courts. There are case laws pertaining to each action and each decision you've taken. You need to be aware of that, and more importantly, you also need to pass it on to all these myriad people that you're working with. So that's a huge challenge, and that's really true like leadership in some sense, because doing by yourself is one thing, making lakhs of others do the things is another issue. Then the third thing is that here there is intense glare on what you do. You are under tremendous public scrutiny. The political parties are looking for any wrong utterance from your side. The press and media is constantly keeping you in their triggers. Or you said that, what did you mean by that? People interpret your statements as that goes out in the press, as it goes out to the people, as it goes through the social media and all that. You could have said something in a well-intentioned manner, but how it comes across. So one has to be extremely conscious and cautious about what one is saying into the public. These are challenges which are very new, and and at the same time, accomplishing a challenge successfully always brings a lot of satisfaction. So that was rewarding too.
Right. And just, even this election as well, the opposition who loses is always going to say there's EVM tampering. What can you say about that? That EVMs can be hacked or whatever has been said?
As I mentioned, I'm a technology student. I'm an engineer by profession. Though my career right now is a generalist IAS thing. I can tell you at a personal level, I'm more than convinced that the EVMs cannot be tampered with. The safeguards in the EVM are not merely technical. More important, there is tremendous amount of sophisticated technical safeguards built into the EVM VVPAT system. But more important than that is the procedures which we have adopted. You see, elections have been now conducted in India since 1952, multiple years, multiple elections, extremely well contested, fiercely contested. All sorts of tricks of the trade are brought into play when power is at stake. And we have developed protocols to address each and every one of these challenges. For example, even in the days when the ballot papers were printed and ballot boxes were used, we used to have security deployment, transparency procedures where everything, movement inside and outside would be video recorded, and CCTV, it would be captured in the CCTV. So that kind of transparency etc. was also built into it, and that kind of safeguards were also procedural safeguards, legal safeguards were built into it. The same has continued and evolved when we have brought in the EVMs. So while there is a segment of the political stakeholders who are challenging the validity, but all the political parties have come to power using this machine. World over, the EVMs are lauded for they're bringing in the efficiencies and the transparencies that they have brought in. So there will always be doubting Thomases, but I think the debate is well settled now.
Maybe in the US, somebody like you, I can see you have also having known you on a personal level. I know you're a very philosophical, you're a thinker, and you do have this thing of, I want to do something for the system, and you're doing that from the position you're in. Somewhere else, maybe in the West, somebody like you would have been in politics. Have you thought of that? I'm just...
No, politics, I don't think that really politics you need to nurture your constituency and work into that. So if someday down the line after my IAS career is over, an opportunity comes, definitely it would be interesting to serve the people. But at present, no way. I'm actually quite apolitical right now. In the job I hold is also extremely important for me to be very neutral. But having said that, yes, I think one of the major things that I resolved for myself, I did this sabbatical at Harvard I was telling you about. And apart from the intense mathematical economics courses that they teach us, there are also these retreats where you reflect, and then there are these extremely talented people who come and hold these conclaves and other things and all that. So in one of those things, I really looked back and saw, being in the IAS itself gives you tremendous opportunities to do things. And if you look at the kind of exposures I've had, so I decided that every job that I will hold from now on, I will try to look at how I can bring about systems improvements. You see the world, I mean, India is at one stage of development, right? So we are a $2,000 economy in real terms, or like, 8,000 kind of a thing in PPP terms. As we move upwards, as we become a developed country, as we reach a $20,000 mark. So, what we need is to like get more and more effective and efficient systems, essentially. Challenges are huge. Challenges are huge. Even trying to communicate some of these ideas with the decision makers at times is challenging. But having said that, I am very happy that, when you define your job in terms of actually looking at what you can do to make the systems better, what you can do to deliver on that day, it becomes very fulfilling for yourself. Then the things that would normally irritate a person, the political interference, so many people talk about political interference, but you look at it as a challenge. I mean, that's this thing that, you are trying to get like the political decision makers to make an optimal, efficient decision. That becomes a challenge. Then that becomes like a golf, you're trying to do a par on a birdie or something like that.
Yeah, about your family.
Mm-hmm.
You have 2 kids.
Right.
Right. And are they sort of, what do they do?
My son just graduated from Oxford University, and he's joined Amazon in their management program at Munich. He is based out of Munich. My daughter finished law from the National Law School, and she's working with Amarchand and Mangaldas in Delhi. So they're pretty well set now.
How about your wife?
My wife was a corporate executive till very recently. Okay. Initially we were working together in Tatas. She continued to work with the Tatas. Tatas were very accommodative, I think, with my career. You guys had met. And that's where we had met too. And then later on she went on to be the senior vice president in Vodafone as the corporate and regulatory affairs head. And last year she decided to call it a day. I mean, enough. Basically, it required her to travel all over the country, and the office was based out of Delhi. So me having my roots here, it was becoming more difficult to work out. And also comes a time when you feel like, doing something else. So she is now back with me here.
How do you manage this family get their time between golfing and
usually they do, mostly they do, but like the last 3 months when I was conducting the elections, I think I was missed. Actually, I had planned for my son had invited and worked out a very nice holiday in France, in Dijon, in Burgundy area. I'm fond of wines. I actually do a little bit of serious work in different kinds of wines and things. I have appreciation of wines. So he had wanted to take me to Burgundy. They booked a chateau over there in a vineyard. 3-week holiday. It all went crashing because the government decided to dissolve the house on 6th September.
Right. And you were required,
Though there was no question of going away at that time. Though I did try to get at least a few days off. But the commission said that right now it just cannot be worked out. So I guess I'll take a rain check on that one.
Your wife also is quite a fitness enthusiast.
We aren't such fitness enthusiasts, not like fitness freaks kind of a thing. But
that's what I keep hearing. So
no. I think you're hearing the wrong sorts of things. There isn't that much time about but the thing is that, it's all about management. It's about balance, So I try and do my workouts, varied workouts. I work out with weights. I do my cardiovascular thing. I keep up with golf. And of late, I've started working, I was trying hot yoga, the Bikram yoga thing. And I found that was actually very good. You see, the whole thing is just basically you should be interested. You should look at exercise as a reward at the end of a tiring day, rather than something that you're working on. That's the 25% part of it, and 75% is controlling what you eat. So at the end of the day, if you end up a day with some unhealthy food and all that, no amount of workouts is going to help you. I think it's all about balance, I think.
Obviously, I like people who can balance both work and fitness, especially, keeping it. So I always tend to, question that and want to know about it. So anyway, it's great that you manage that.
Moderation thing and all that. The people get fanatical if they have missed a workout session or this thing. I have a routine. Say for example, in the morning, 3 days a week, if I try and play golf, and usually I miss a session. So if I'm hitting it 2 times a week, that's great. And similarly, like 3 days for a gym session. So in case like a 1 or 2 is missed sometimes, that is not the end of the thing. The thing is to keep at it, keep a routine that you enjoy doing, vary it around, don't get stuck. I've seen people, they'll go to this like spinning class, you know, spinning, there's bikes, stationary bikes and all that. And then like if the stationary bike that they like is not available, they'll walk out of the class. If you're that set, obviously nothing is going to come to you. The thing is about variety, things about keeping on doing new things, experimenting, developing new capabilities.
Though also the interesting thing for me right now is you talking about this, because I don't think a lot of people know about this side of yours.
No, I don't think so. They must be thinking of me as a stuffed shirt guy sitting there and pontificating about electoral laws and all that. Well, that's that dimension also. I mean, there is a professional life to it. But I think there is also a personal life, and I mean, Hyderabad has been a wonderful city. I have a great group of friends here, a social circle. Delhi was always home, and there is a big circle there. So keeping in touch with them and meeting up occasionally, sharing pleasant moments with them.
So are you a very social person? Do you like go out to party?
I'm a reserved person, but like I do like to spend quality time with people, you know. I mean, like I'm not a gregarious party creature. But like I certainly like to sit with 3 or 4 good friends, and like, you know, I mean, that's the best way to spend time.
So tell me about the golf. How good are you?
I play a 20 handicap.
Okay.
I won the monthly tournament of the club in my handicap category in November. Not too bad, but a long way to go.
So you're obviously working.
See, I'm not able to give as much time, you know, like, I mean, what you need to do is essentially, like, I mean, golf is a game of consistency. If you're hitting a shot one time, you should be able to hit that same thing 100 times in a row. That requires tremendous amount of practice. And that's something that I'm not able to. I'll get there too one day.
So as I see it, golf seems to be the way life is, you know, for you. It's
actually, golf is a very important thing. It teaches you a lot, you know, like, I mean, golf, you could have like a great shot, and the next one you can hit 3 of them without connecting with the ball. So one thing is, it tells you like to keep your eyes on the ball, literally and figuratively, watch the moment, perform there, take care of the problems as they come. Focus, keeping calm while all sorts of things are happening. The moment you let some bad shot get to you, that tournament has gone out of hand. So keeping focus, keeping your mental equanimity, I think all that translates very well into my job, if you know. Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you so much for showing us a side of this, you know, this side of your life, which I don't think most people have seen. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Being with you, Imran.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. That's it for now. I'll see you next time.